say qualities, we would say training, we would say observation, we would say actual practice, right, in terms of coming up with a plan for credentialing. Then we could say we need a government and we need consequences or sanctions if the model is not followed and the steps are not taken. So then we get to the end point and we say, okay, now we need someone to enforce it. And if every time we get to the end, here's what I mean, because what I feel like is we can all do that, we've talked about it, we know what it would entail. So then do we keep walking up against the wall? Because if OMA says we're the organization who has done it in other states, who is doesn't have a training program of their own, so we're not in conflict with providing the training skills, but we are a 8-person volunteer board who come from different backgrounds and different levels of training, and we say, well, we can't do it, then what's the answer? Is there an answer? Because I guess we keep having the conversation and we say this is what it looks like and this is what it should look like, and some of us agree and some of us don't, but we don't know who will do it, so thanks for coming, it's 1:30, we're all gonna go. And we all say, well, that was fun, but.
That's why it hasn't happened.
So then, if it hasn't happened because we can't get the body to enforce it and to oversee it and to commit in a legitimate way that would create a legitimate credentialing system, is there something else we should be looking at? Should we be looking at some other process model?
Is the body's roadblock, could the body's roadblock be removed by financial resources? That hire a staff, or could it be that the obstacle is financial?
Certainly part of it. If you've got money, you can hire a professional. That opens a whole lot of doors. Sure.
And here's the question. So if we have the money to hire a professional, who are we hiring? Am I hiring Martha to determine that you have what it takes to decide who is a good mediator, who is not a good mediator, what complaint is valid, what isn't? And I'm not saying you would be on the top list.
You're hiring an administrator to effectuate the plan and device.
So first you'd say, is the Ohio Mediation Association interested in taking a leadership role? That is, there a group of volunteers within the OMA willing to get together and work on the details. And then can they hire a professional administrator to actually administer the standards once
I feel like that's putting the cart before the horse, because we don't even have an idea of what model might be acceptable to OMA, to other associations, to members of those associations. So I feel like before that assessment is done and there's a recommendation made, and that's I think where the committee initially was, so we re-engage that and put it out there to other associations if they want to, participate in something like that to try to develop something. I feel like that legwork all needs to get done first, because if you're going right to how do we, enforce or discipline, whatever, which by the way, working in court, you get a lot of questions, and there's nowhere to take them about other mediators. They want to know, is there somewhere I can complain to? So, to answer, we were talking about that a little bit previously, I do get complaints a lot. And
So you're saying that you would see a harm. I mean, you see a harm to parties and hear about harm to parties.
Correct.
So then you would say there needs to be, go back into committee, decide what it should look like, and then decide who can do it.
Make a recommendation, see who's on board, right? I just think it needs to go there. And, any building of any type of organization is glorious. It's just the way it is. So, people wanting to take that on are just going to into it. And, but I feel like jumping to what's the end game, what's the disciplinary, that's just so far, beyond.
When the panel was looking at things, they go to the writing office and social mediation programs and a lot of just
And Jay, I'm going to turn it over to you and just, and I think part of the question for me though too is that there isn't consensus that credentialing is needed or necessary or that we all want it. Should we be pursuing it? And that's where I'm a little bit stuck, is that we can put it all out there, we can come up with a model, we can come up with a criteria, we can have a committee to do that. But if we're a profession based on, you know, our valuing consensus and we don't have it in our own profession to move forward, does it make sense to move forward with that? Jay?
I've just been trying really hard to stay quiet.
You've done a good job.
Thank you. I mean, I think that I've been part of this discussion for a lot of years, and it's frustrating because we tend to have these conversations, we say what we know, these questions, we know the answers to it, and we also say, can't go anywhere with this. I really think that the biggest problem aren't so much the fact that these substantive questions haven't yet been answered. They are big questions, and it will take an enormous amount of work by a lot of people committed to answering these questions to get them answered. But in my opinion, that isn't the biggest problem. The biggest problem is that we don't have a commitment by the key players in this state, in mediation, to commit to a process to answer these questions. You know, I've been trying for a number of years to have this discussion, and a lot of times, not only could we not get people to talk about the substance, not only did they not want to talk about it, they didn't want anybody else talking about it either. And there were efforts to sort of subvert the discussion. So in my opinion, until we get to a place where there is a commitment among key players in the state of Ohio to commit to the long slog of hours that it would take to answer these questions. I mean, that's what we have to do, is commit to answering the questions. I mean, as Kate said, we can't put the cart before the horse where somebody comes up with, here's what we think we should do. I mean, I just don't think OMA coming up with the answer is going to get us where we need to go. I think there needs to, and I don't think that at this point there is a commitment on the key players to have what I believe needs to take place, which is a true, here's a concept, interest-based discussion about the concept of credentialing or licensure, or whatever word, and that to me is a question that should be answered in itself. But whatever the future of the field is, there needs to be a commitment on the key players to commit to a process to answer these questions. Until the key players commit to that process, we are going to continue to have these discussions and lead to a dead end. In my opinion, the biggest harm, when you ask the question, the harm that's going to be prevented is the number of people who are not having their quality of lives improved because we can't get them to the table. And we can't get them to the table because we don't have a healthy profession. And we don't have a healthy profession because we don't have legitimacy. And we don't have legitimacy because we don't have the accoutrements of a profession. And we're not going to have the accoutrements of a profession until we answer these questions. So to me, the commitment needs to be to start not with trying to answer these questions or some committee meeting to try to answer the questions, but get the whole key players in the field together to commit to what would easily be months and months of work to answer these questions.
So, David?
Well, I'm just wondering, as kind of a backup, you know, if OMA could just very much promote its website and very much promote mediators to be on the website and provide all their credentials on there and go out to the public and say, if you need a mediator, go to the website, look up these people, and you're going to find a lot of information about them and make your decision.
Well, and I think that's, so Jay, here, if the answer is we need to get all of these key players to buy in, we need to get all the key players to the table to commit to months and months, if not years, of research and discussion and debate over what this should look like, do we just say, well, if that's not going to happen, so we do nothing, or do we do something in the alternative? Because my concern is like yours. There is not right now buy-in from the folks that I think we probably need to have buy-in from.
Well, that's where I think, if it were me, that's where I would focus my energy to start with, is to players, the regional mediation associations, obviously the statewide association, the Ohio Supreme Court. You know, there used to be a Commission on Speed Resolution, sadly, they're not a key player anymore. And that to me is just another indicator of the health of this field. I think that's where the work needs to be done, is to make the case to have those key players, whoever those are. Our association probably needs to be a part of that, to commit to that process. So I just feel like everything else, until we get, until we make the case, and I'm not totally convinced that we will convince them to commit to that. And I just think if we don't do that, it is inevitable that we will not move forward on any kind of meaningful standards with teeth. And so I just feel like, yes, the answer is we don't do anything until we take those steps, because if we're not going to do it right, it would be worse than not doing it at all.
After watching this for the past 20 years, I think the way to make that happen is to go ahead and somebody say, okay, we're going to do it, because when somebody says, they've got the ball, they're going to do it, we want our, you know, we don't want them to have the ball, we want to have the ball. That's when you see people jump up, you know, come into meetings, is if they think you're going to do something.
Only sometimes it's too late. And we are seeing some initiatives that are sort of cutting around the edges of regulation of the field by someone other than the field itself. And that's what has been frustrating for me being in this field, is that this profession doesn't really have its act together in terms of, you know, taking control of ourselves as a field. And I think that if we don't do it, there is a risk that someone else will do it, and we might not much like how that is done, only now it's too late.
Right, but if you're out there visibly doing it and telling people you are willing to, you know, have their participation, if they really think you're doing something and getting somewhere with it, they're going to want to part of it.
And I'm not trying to volunteer because it's not trying, but would you have any reaction to, just in saying there needs to be a state, you know, you would either be state governed, or we have to do it on a smaller scale, or getting buy-in, and that you two would agree that we haven't had buy-in from key players?
I agree, and I don't think we're likely to get it, because I think part of the key player is the state legislature, who has to put up money for a state entity to run this, and they got rid of the Commission on Dispute Resolution. So I hate to be a naysayer, but unless it's going, and I also don't think the Supreme Court currently feels strongly enough about this issue that they're likely to build it into their budget as a request. I could be wrong, but that's my sense. Which makes me think if we want something at the state level, I don't know enough, as I mentioned earlier, about the Notary Public Commission, where you simply register, or you know, maybe take a simple test and then you're on a registry. Would something like that be enough for some people, and would it help us get a foot down the road of at least saying, if you're going to be a mediator, you've got to be registered with this entity? Now, it's a very low bar, but at least your name's registered with them, therefore if something goes horribly wrong, there's a place to make a complaint. You know, maybe that would even take a lot of time and energy, and folks may say that's not